Hi. It's Cami here with Smart Social Secrets. How are you doing today? I hope you're great. I have been thinking about restarting my Thursday live stream. So this is my first one of 2021. So, hey, I wanted to talk to you today about email and social media. And so, what kind of sparked this for me was really the news over the last couple of weeks and really some of it's been political, obviously, so this is not about politics, but you can't count on social media platforms to be there forever. So I have a story from like quite a long time ago when I was working for a big brand, and one morning I woke up and I went to their Facebook page and it was completely gone. The whole page was completely gone. It was disconcerting to say the least. So at that time, there was really not an easy way to get in touch with Facebook either. You had to put in like some strange form that you had to find like buried on their website. It was really hard to get it back. It took us about a week, I think, or so to get the actual page back. We did get the page back. It was a glitch. All of it worked out in the end, but it did teach me something at that point in time, and that is I cannot count on social media networks to be there for me. They are not, we don't own them. We don't own that space. And so we need to have a plan in place to be able to talk to our audience just in case that happens, either for a glitch or a network shuts down. Their businesses too. And I've been on many networks, Blab. Oh gosh, there was one with a little pig. I can't remember. There's so many that we've been on over the years that we got really enmeshed in, embroiled in, and built a big profile, and then they're just gone. And so you have to figure out how to create those relationships with your community, both on the platform and off of the platform. So if you're here, by the way, go ahead and let me know. I actually can see you. You can just leave comments and I can see here where you are. I'm actually live streaming this in 4 different places. I use StreamYard to do that. So I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter / Periscope. I am on LinkedIn, and I'm also on YouTube. So let me know where you are, and if you're here, just go ahead and type in the comments. So anyway, and even if you're watching in replay. So I want you to take notes, think about this, and tell me where you are. If you have an email list that's already built, that's great. But email right now is still the best way to grow your audience. Now, email is there's also SMS, which is like texting, right? So you can get their text number. But most people are not going to give you that unless you're all the way into a relationship with them and maybe you're delivering something specific to them. So I would say, email, messenger, all those kinds of things are awesome, but they're not necessarily going to be as rock steady, solid as email. Email just is, you're going to have an email list. So tell me, hi, I've got a couple people here. Hi, Terry, thank you. And Stasia, good morning to you too, both on LinkedIn, hi. So absolutely important to have that email list. And Carla's on LinkedIn too. Oh, that's great. I'm glad I'm getting a good LinkedIn crowd today. So let me just talk to you a little bit about that and why email, how to build your email list. So I really was very hesitant to use email. I have to be really honest. I'm one of those people that I've been building an email list for years, but I haven't necessarily used it to its maximum potential. And there was a couple things that stopped me, I think. And number one was, what am I going to say? And do people really want to hear from me that often? That was number one. Number two was, I don't want to sound pushy and terrible. I was worried what people would think about me, I guess, and so forth. And then number three, I was worried about people unsubscribing. That unsubscribe thing, like when you send out an email blast, there's always like 5 to 8, maybe 10, depending on how big your email list, and maybe even more if you have a big email list, that unsubscribe every time you send out an email. And I had to get over that mentally. So there was a mental barrier for me. So I don't know if that's for you too. So let me know if that is. But yeah, I had some mental barriers as well. So I had to get over those. And so the best way to get over those is just to create some amazing content that people love. So, just give. So that's really my philosophy and always has been anyways, just give the information out. And then hopefully, we can work on maybe being in a relationship as a customer later. If there's an opportunity, if there's not, then there's many other things that come out of these relationships that are great, including referrals and all kinds of amazing things. So there is a mental thing for some of us. I don't know if that's for you. So let me know if that's you. Do you have that mental block? Like, I'd love to build a big email list, but now if you've already built an email list, you kind of are like me. I would say I'm in the mid-range on the email list. So I don't have like a 10,000 person email list. Mine is, I have a couple of different email lists that are in the thousands. Okay. So several thousands. And that I think is, where I am mentally. So social media and email need to move together. So I am trying at all times, I want to get people that want to have a deeper relationship with me, that want to know more. I'm trying to get them to my email list. So for example, today, I kind of modeled that. I put a link to one of my resources up top called the 2x2. And that's the way that I build my online audiences. I build my social media audiences by using this 2x2 method, where I go out and I talk to 2 different people every day, and I make 2 different pieces of content every day that's really aimed at being interactive. So that's just really my method. And so I teach that method, often in videos, and I give that link to people. So you can look at that and you can sign up for it and see what I do. So, you would get on a list, and then I start sending out emails. And the emails are really about value, all the time value. And then once in a while, I'll have a sale. So I have a course, an online course that I'll sell. And I also have a toolkit thing that's coming up that's going to be sold probably through the email too. The thing is that even if you don't sell anything, you need an email list. So I have the first step for you is to build relationships on social media. That's still super important. So using that 2x2 method absolutely works. I've taught it to hundreds of people, and people come back to me all the time and say, wow, that's just really common sense, but it totally works. And it gives you a framework, a structure, I guess. So you're thinking, did I do that today? Make sure it happens. So you don't just end up scrolling forever and getting nothing out of it. Number 2 is to build a relatable and useful resource. So for me, that's the 2x2. I've built that as a freebie that I give out to people. For you, it may be a number of things. It depends on your business and your organizations. Stasia says it always hurts her feelings when a few people unsubscribe. Yeah, I know. You know what I try to remember too, though? Let me going back to that, because that mindset is really important. If they unsubscribe, remember how you use your email. Like last night, I was going through my email, and I unsubscribed to a whole bunch of stuff all at once. And it's not because I don't like those people or like those products, but your inbox gets overflowing, and you're like, yeah, what is it? And so, yeah, you can't let it hurt your feelings, because it's really one of those things you just have to be like, okay, yeah, okay. And think about it as cleaning your list too. So you want to build that relatable resource. They're going to use that, they're going to consume it, and then they may not after that need what you have to offer. So if you don't have something beyond that too, to bring them down the line. So really those resources are super, super important to build. And I didn't have those for a long time, or I had them sporadically, I guess. And now I have them very specific. So depending on what you do for a living, you need to think about what those resources would be. So if you're a nonprofit, I think you should build a resource for the people that might be your supporters, not just the resource for your clients in nonprofits, but maybe a resource for your donors too. You got to think about that. Or, if you're a coach like me, or you're going to do that. If you have an agency like I do, that's a totally different resource that you're going to want to build for people that are looking for agencies. So you need to think about your audience, and you're going to get that in that step 1. As you build those relationships, you're going to know who you're talking to. You're going to know who you need to be helping. I help smaller, social media practitioners and professionals to build their online audience, either for their own business or as an employee for a business. Those are the 2 I work with mostly. And so that is all of my content is like completely pointed toward that. And then that resource has to be something that is like free, but they would pay for it. You know what I'm saying? It's something that has to be so valuable that it would be like, wow, I should have probably paid for that. It was that good. So you want to make something and I don't mean just like an ebook or a tip sheet. I mean, those are awesome, but you want to have something where they can get a flavor for what it would be like to work with you. So there's that. And then number 3, you obviously want to ask them for their email. This is where things can get a little bit slimy on social media, asking people for their email or trying to get them to download stuff from you. So I know this is a real big moment of like friction, I think, between, I mean, for me, it is. I don't like to do this. So, if somebody sends you a DM and says, hey, sign up for my thing, you feel kind of overwhelmed, kind of like, I don't want that. Kind of like, what are you trying to sell me? It just kind of puts your walls up as a person that's being asked that question. So one of the things that I think is really cool is like you can also from time to time say, hey, I have this resource, but DM me if you want it. That's something that my friend Todd does, Giantasio does, and he does it to great effect. A lot of people will ask for that resource from you. You can do something like I'm doing here, teaching a little bit, and that resource actually fits in the teaching. So I'm teaching all my points, and I'm telling you, one of my first point is really to build the relationships on social, because you can't get them to sign up for your email unless you actually have a relationship with them. So how do you build that? Well, stuff like this, coming and talking very openly about the challenges of doing something like this. I've had these challenges. I know some of you are probably having these challenges or you wouldn't have clicked in. So that's really important. And then in that asking for an email, you need to have a place for them to go and sign up, right? So I don't know, how many of you are using a CRM right now, a customer relationship management, or a email software? I use Convertkit for the most part, and I also use MailChimp for the social media breakfast stuff. So I use Convertkit for my business, and I use MailChimp for the social media breakfast, the Houston social media breakfast email list, which is a monthly event I've put on for about 12 years now. So I use that because for social media breakfast, I'm not really monetizing that. And MailChimp will let you have up to 2,000 people on your list for free. And it is just, it's just straightforward. They've added a lot of things recently, like pages where you can set up like little landing pages and things. But that's a very simple tool. And ConvertKit has actually now, and they didn't before, they just added a 1,000 free layer. So if you only have like 1,000 or less email on your email, ConvertKit is free right now for you too. And why I use ConvertKit for the business is because it has a lot more integrations, and I can do a lot more segmenting of the list easier, tagging. It's just easier. I can do that on MailChimp, but it's just easier on ConvertKit. So I did put my ConvertKit link above if you want to check out ConvertKit for free. But MailChimp is also a really good option. Some of you may use other things. Feel free to suggest them in the thing. So that's how we do it. So we got the 2x2, we've got the build a relatable resource. So you got to have a resource that's going to be the work for you, right? What is that resource? That's the work for you. And then ask for an email. And that is going to be like what I did here. You'll give a link sometimes within the context of teaching. You might ask people if they are interested in something as you're talking to them and say, hey, I have this thing, but if you want it, let me know. So then they're asking you for the link instead of you like shoving the link down their throat. I think that's really important, especially on LinkedIn. That happens a lot. And also, I would say asking for the email is really one of those things where you can actually send out an email to people that are already in your, so if you're just starting, like say you have a 0 email list and you have clients and you have customers and you have certain people, you can send out an email to them one by one. And I know that's a lot, but you don't have to send out thousands, send out 100 or 50 and send them one by one and say, hey, I'm starting this new thing. It's an email and here's the resource, or I have this new resource. Would that be something that would be interesting to you? And you can actually get people's feedback that way too. But plus they may say, yeah, I'm interested in that. And then you give them the link. So that's another way to manage that too. Oh, how does ConvertKit compare to Constant Contact for ease of use and features? Well, Saskia, I know Constant Contact has been around a really long time. I used to use it like all the way back in like the early 90s. I mean, that's just how long this is going. Yeah, when I was still at MHI. So probably, yeah, no, late 90s. It was late 90s. Anyway, whatever. I like ConvertKit better because it's more of a marketing tool, like in the sense that it doesn't have all the templates, I guess you could say. So you can build a template in there, but you kind of have to build it yourself. I personally don't like templates. I feel like most people just gloss them out. So I don't know about you, but if you get all of these emails all the time with these great templates, I mean, they look pretty, but do you really put them on the top of your list of the things to read unless they have like amazing content? It's often thrown into a different thing. So I don't like Constant Contact, but I haven't used it in probably for like 10 years. So I can't tell you that I can't tell you that 100%, but you can check it out. That's the cool thing about Convertkit right now. It's free for 1,000. So you can actually go sign up for an account and just go dig around in there and see if you like it. You don't have to move over there until you're really sure of it. So that would be what I would recommend. So yes, I love ConvertKit. I also like it because you can make these sequences. You can make email sequences, and it pulls it up in this really cool editor where you have email 1, email 2, email 3, email 4, email 5, and you can add them. And then you just type your emails in there, and you can see them all in a row. I really like that because if you're sending out a resource, and then you might have some backup emails to go after, it makes it really easy to do that. So I really like that from a writer's perspective. And then of course you want to send your email on a regular basis. And when I say regular, I mean, some people say weekly. I know I do that sometimes and sometimes I don't. So I try to keep up with weekly, but that's not necessarily how it goes in my world. So it right now that's been going out for me probably, every other week or so, I'll send out an email. And once in a while, when I'm in a sales cycle, it'll be a little bit more. Oh, and the other thing that's cool about ConvertKit is that when I am in a sales cycle, like when I am selling my course, that's a lot of emails. And so I put right at the top, like, if you're not interested in the course at this time, click here to opt out of this promo or this promo, and then you won't be taken totally off the list, but you can actually have them opt out of that one promo so that they don't leave your list because they're overwhelmed. So if they're interested in the course, they may want to listen to all your emails because it explains the course, what they're doing, and so on. But then you don't want to lose them from your list because you overwhelmed them once. So that's another thing that I like about ConvertKit is they have this in email click thing that adds them either to a tag or adds them to a do not, for this promo, send to me, which I love. So that's another thing I like about it. Then also, I want to just say something really quick. I'll come to it just at the end, but that's send email. So one is I'm going to just go back and do them again. One is social media relationships, build them. I have the 2x2 above that'll help you do that. 2, build a relatable resource that's you're going to run ads to it. You may live stream. It could be a live stream like this. You need a resource that is going to bring people to your page. And then you have to have something for them to download so that they will give you their email. Then ask for their email. And I gave you some tips on how to ask for emails in a non-smarmy way, as one of my friends will say. Then you're going to send them emails so get to know you. And you really want your emails to be 80-20. 80% absolute value, 20% sales. So you really don't want to be selling very much in your email. You want to sell occasionally. So those people that just suddenly pop up all the time to sell you something, it's just not very helpful. People won't pay attention to you. That's really the problem with that. And then number 5, which is kind of my secret sauce here, is that you want to then, once you have them on your email, you want to drive them back to your social. So that's how you get the virtuous circle. So last night I sent out an email, and I don't know how many of you are on here right now that saw that email or are here because of that email. I'm sure some people will have seen it later today because of the email. And I said, hey, I'm going live tomorrow morning, and I'm going to be talking about email and how to grow your email list with your social media. Why don't you join us if you can? And so I sent that out last night. I did have people unsubscribe, which is all fine. Always do. So every time I send it out, there's people that unsubscribe. And it's okay. It's really okay because it's not personal. It really isn't, or you can't take it personally because you may be on my list now, get off of it, and then get back on it again, like sometime down the line when you're more in that space and looking for that kind of information. Okay, so Lance says he's having trouble thinking up a resource. Okay, yeah. Okay, so Lance, yeah, I totally get you. So do you think that something like a Houston tour guide or party ideas for Houston would be valued? Yes. So Lance has a party bus in Houston, which is so cool. And right now, I think that's interesting. I think, yes, I think you could say maybe even 10 ways to use a party bus. Like, what about like ideas about, creative ideas about how to take your party mobile or something like that? Like how to get your party mobile or especially right now, safety is good. I'm sorry. Got this, Beth. I'm going to go there. Oh, Beth says it worked. Ah, great. Thank you. So yeah, I think party ideas for Houston would be good, but like make sure you put it into your context. Like how do you like how to create a mobile party, a safe mobile party, because that's the other part right now too, because of COVID and stuff. How do you? That would be my big question for you is like how would I do that safely, if that makes sense. So I don't know if that makes sense to you, but I think that would help you a lot to have something like that there, especially right now. It's very timely and good. And then later when COVID kind of starts to fade, maybe have like, 10 really creative party ideas for mobile party ideas or something like that. Yeah. Okay. So Beth, yeah. Oh, great. So thanks, Beth. I'm glad you're using it. I'm glad it's working for you. So I found that that's true though. The 2x2 is so, it seems like once you learn it, it's like, oh yeah, okay, of course, it's like, yeah, that's a great way to do that. And I kind of learned it the hard way in a way, because I just was trying to get people to pay attention to me. But way back in 2005, when I first started blogging, I just could not, I just wrote all this content and I felt like I had all this knowledge and I wanted to share it. But, you'd write these blog posts and nobody would come. And so I started to realize that, oh, if I go to other people's blogs and I leave long comments that are really like insightful and show that I'm like reading their stuff and actually am reading their stuff and I'm having a conversation with them, then they're going to come to my site and do the same. So this reciprocal stuff is really, really important. And that relationship building is like at the heart of all of it. And the other thing I like about Convertkit, by the way, is that, and I don't know if Constant Contact does this or not, is that I can say to you, hey, hit reply, and I'm at the other end of those replies. Like if I send you an email, like if you're on my email list and you have a question for me, all you have to do is hit reply. It comes directly into my email and I will respond to you directly. So I've done that a lot. A lot of people have done that with me and sent me questions, ideas, thoughts, and we've been able to have like a relationship grow out of that and build that up. So there you go. So that was my 5 things. Another thing, I guess, one more thing for driving people back to social. So your email can actually help you grow your social media channels. So that's the other thing. I've seen it happen a few times. I think I saw Tim Ferriss do it first a couple of years ago, where he would say, hey, this Instagram post, everybody is talking about it. Like, we're having this big conversation. What do you think? And he'd put like a link to that Instagram post, and it would drive like this, the comments and everything inside of that Instagram post. And usually the Instagram post was something, where he'd put out some sort of opinion and had asked people like what their opinion was. So that was really interesting way to use the email too. So driving people back to like a channel that you're trying to grow could be really helpful, as long as it's not like you're driving them to a post that's super promotional, I guess. You don't want to drive them to a post that's like, buy my thing, because you can just ask them to buy your thing in the email. So I'm just saying, if you're going to use it to drive them back to social, use them to drive it back to social for a conversation. And if you do that, then you're going to grow those relationships. So it is a virtuous circle. And if your social media network completely blinks out and isn't here tomorrow, you at least have your email list. You can say, hey, I'm over here. Actually, this reminds me of TikTok at the end of the year, because, they were told that they were going to close it down and TikTok was going to be gone if they didn't sell it to an American company. And there was all this stuff. And people are getting on TikTok going, follow me on Instagram. Oh, I'll be over here. I'll be over there. And that's really, they had these huge followings on TikTok, but they didn't have it anywhere else. You know what I'm saying? They hadn't grown those relationships out. So I just really believe in like spreading it out a little bit, and so that you have like a base to work from if things change, because algorithms change, networks go down, people get banned. I mean, things happen. So you need to prepare for that. Like we all need to prepare for that. So there you go. Oh, there's Russ. There's my relationship building guy. I was on his show yesterday. Hi, Russ. Thanks for dropping by. So that's the deal. Build your email list. I know it's like hard. It's not fun. I know it seems like a lot of work. It is a lot of work. I had all of those thoughts. By the way, those were all my thoughts that I just gave you about email. And so, yeah, I didn't want to seem like overly pushy. I didn't want to, so many things. So I would just say, building relationships are really the key to this. If you have that at heart as you're building your email list, you're going to be super successful at this. And you're going to have your own little repository of your relationships that you build over time on your email list that you can continue to interact with. So that's it. I think that's it. Yeah, that's 30 minutes. That went quick. If you have any further questions, please let me know. Again, I put some links above to help you find, if you want a free Convertkit account, just to kick the tires and look at it. Also, the 2x2 is above. If you haven't done the 2x2 yet, I highly recommend it. It's recommended by other people right here on the call. So anyway, I am looking forward to that. Tomorrow, by the way, Social Media Breakfast is meeting on Zoom for a morning coffee about the same time, 8:30 actually, 8:30 to 9:30. And we're going to be doing a more interactive thing. So if you're interested in Social Media Breakfast, you go to Houston Social Media Breakfast on Facebook or on LinkedIn, and you can find some information about that. I'll put it in the comments too later. So that's pretty much it, guys. I am so excited that you showed up today. Thank you. And thanks, Maxine. Thanks, Carla. Thanks, Beth, Lance, Stasia, and LinkedIn user. I've got a couple of LinkedIn users here. Terry, thank you. Thanks all of you for coming. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day. And hopefully this has helped you. I hope, because we all need to be ready for the fact that we are not able to totally rely on these channels to continue to work the same way they did yesterday. Okay? All right. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.